Hey all, want to quickly walk through a few items in this autonomy perception project right down here, module for an on-road robo-taxi from a couple different angles. So we're going to analyze some of the latest items around item definition construction, configuration of a life cycle, and then management of this both across each of the items that feed into a FUSA life cycle. So everything except for the DFMEAs, we'll focus on the HARA, the DFA, and a couple of views right now. And we'll look at system FMEAs another time, as well as the cybersecurity, especially the TARA lifecycle. So one of the first items that you can see is now available is that so we can still import from, for example, a variety of images, and you can load components that are already available. So, for example, you may have seen in an earlier project that we imported, for example, a diagram of a system diagram of this particular ACC module that had a radar component. And so you can see when we load this one that we actually end up loading a bunch of the rest of the lifecycle automatically because we've already generated in the past. So let's take a little bit of what's been generated and then some of the new stuff that helps us change this a little bit. So again, we're going to start by looking at this for the FUSA lifecycle, then shift over to cybersecurity and see a little bit of the configurability that's now available. So let's expand everything so we can see it down below, and then we'll pull up the traceability matrix to view a little bit of this. So we have all of these. We scroll back all the way to the top, and we can see, for example, that we have, some fault model, and the fault model hasn't yet been generated, so we're going to come back to that one. Now, HARA, we have things like failure to detect an obstacle in the vehicle's path, so very relevant. You can now come in and edit this one directly. You can edit the ID if you like. You can edit the ASIL and the safety goal or the risk parameters if you like, as well as adding feedback. So this is one of the really nice things that now exists, where you can come in here and you can say, okay, this hazard is too high level, and we can see what it brings back. So this records the feedback, and later we'll come back and we'll actually parse that to trigger actions here. Okay, so now we have the functional safety concept. And we have, for example, the safety goal up here. We have the functional requirement. And one of the nice things that shows up is that, okay, so we didn't save any technical safety requirements. So you can actually come back up here and you can click add technical requirement to generate some technical requirement off of this one. So it looks like that button might not be quite working right now, but we should be able to come back and add that later. You can also add items. So you can add new safety goals, new functional safety requirements right here. And you can actually upload a full concept if you already have one in the form of a PDF or an Excel file, whatever you have available. Okay. So one of the items that we didn't get a chance to show earlier was generation of a comprehensive diagram representing, for example, some safety requirements or some controls. So I believe we might have an example of that up here. Nope, we don't. So let's take a look at that one. Here we have the architecture diagram that's been developed off of the functional safety requirements, the applicability to different localization modules, and the various data that's available. Okay, so that is one set of items that are available. Now let's actually view the full traceability matrix, and then we'll generate something more. So you can view the trace between a given FSC and some HARAs, and then some items in terms of technical requirements down below. You can edit that right here. And you can do things like, for example, you can come back to any of the items in for example, your TARA workflow, and you can edit the scope of what's being produced down below. So you can do something like, hey, I want to change the way that cybersecurity assets are extracted. And I want to use, for example, the system, function, interfaces, operating modes, ODD definition. This is obviously not right. And you can change the data model. So you can change like the name, the asset type, value, integrity, impact. Yeah, so we can change this to, for example, like a reference to a different item. There we go. And now we can save that and use it to generate. So in our last few seconds, we're going to come back over here and we're going to generate a new TSC. And here we have it. We have a number of malfunctions. These ones are mistakenly traced, but at least we do have the affected